Welcome to the second episode of Ronnie Talks. This episode was recorded on Thursday, November 12th, 2020. I'm your host, Ronnie. You could follow me on Instagram at RonnieTalks4. And this episode is also available on YouTube. You can find the link to the YouTube page and all the podcast streaming platforms, as well as the Tony Talks Instagram, the Ronnie Talks Instagram, at linktr.ee/Ronnie Talks. You can find everything there on my link tree. And now, episode 2, got a hell of an episode for you. If you're a football fan, if you're a sports fan, I think you're going to enjoy this one. I was excited for it. Let's get into it. You already know Louis C. Rhymes with the intro music, so let's do it.
If you wanna talk about it, talk about it. Watch what happened in the room when I walk around it. Watch what happened to your mood when I walk about it. See, my energy is love, boy, I'm all about it, all about it. Me, the one who did it off love. Haters gonna hate, but we ain't, cause we talking about me. But this shit is our son. Ladies, get your man, time to spend, yeah, we talking about me. In the city where I'm from, it's the city of a king, it's the city of a dawn. Me, it's a thing, baby, get it in, ladies. Boy, I've been wavy, talking about me.
I'm now joined by Jajuan Michael Harley. Very excited for this episode. People that know me know I'm a huge football fan. Love stories like the one we're about to talk about, and it's a story in progress, I should say. Jajuan, thanks for joining me.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. It's an honor. I'm just grateful that you hit me up and said, would you be on the show? And I'm like, of course.
Yeah. Like I said, it's something I'm definitely looking forward to talking about. Let's get into first where people can find you. You guys can check out JajuanHarley.com. On Facebook, Jajuan Michael Harley. Twitter, Jajuan M. Harley. Instagram and Snapchat. Nope, Instagram is the same and Snapchat's Harley M. Jajuan. What happened? It was taken?
Yes. That's all that happened. Yeah, I try to keep everything the same so no one has to keep looking for different things. So Snapchat kind of threw me off.
It threw me off when I was just reading it. But anyway, let's get started, man. I kind of want to jump right into it. Kind of briefly describe your story a little bit, and then I kind of want to get into the telling of the story, but just for people to kind of know what we're getting into, just kind of give a little brief summary before we jump into the questions.
Sounds good. The best way I can explain it as short as possible, you talking to a guy who never gave up on himself. When others gave up on him, when life told him that it's impossible, for some reason, this guy digs deep and finds a way to get through. I'm a guy that worked at Walmart and signed with the Buffalo Bills, been my own agent, going through trials and tribulations. Right now, I'm currently the only player in professional football to sign 12 professional contracts, negotiate them as well. That's NFL, CFL, IFL, NAL, AL, AFL, and SFL supplemental draft. So you just talk about a journeyman that's using his story to motivate others to never give up on yourself. Just always find a way to keep moving forward.
So you described yourself in the information that you gave to me as you said you grew up as a fat kid. So
yeah.
So you grew up as a fat kid. You always got picked last. So let's kind of start there, and then we'll get into everything that happened. So where did your love of sports start? If that was your kind of introduction to it, and it kind of was almost pushing you away, what kept you there as a kid?
Well, my father was a athlete throughout high school. He just didn't have the family support because he had to get a full-time job in 11th grade. My mom was a high school athlete. I mean, both these are stars in the city I'm from, in Tallahassee. And, it just trickled to me. It wasn't forced upon me. I just picked up sports. When I was 18 months, I was throwing the football. So happened it was Florida State football that I was throwing because my dad was a Hollywood fan.
Okay.
And then as that fat kid, I was pretty chunky, but I was athletic. So I always had to
Right.
prove myself. Like, that's why I am the way I am today. Always having to prove myself.
From day one, right? Constantly being trying to overcome the negativity, basically. All right, so from there, kind of take me through what led you to football. You know, did you? A lot of people use football to lean on in life. You know, was that something for you, or what was your journey like?
Well, you know, yes, I played football growing up. I played football, basketball, baseball, track. I mean, you name it, right? You know, this football wasn't the sport I was going to lean to, first of all. Going to high school, I was really into basketball. I mean, I was known to be a jump shooter. I was dunking in 7th grade, you know, at 5.5, you know. But I started seeing that I'm in Florida. I'm not going to grow to be 6'6". I'm looking maybe at that time, like maybe I could be 6'3" or something like that. And I just knew I have better chance at football. So I played football and I played it, but it never been, I love football now. Don't get it twisted. I love it. I really do. But it's not my life. It's a platform for me. And I always use that. Playing football helped me help others. For instance, in high school, I feel like if I didn't play sports, I wouldn't be able to help those that was getting bullied, you know, because I can step in. It's a football star help someone else. So my journey is helping others. And so happy football has put me in predicaments to help others in different forms of life.
And that definitely brought you to something that you have going on today that we'll get into in a minute. Also, obviously, definitely a platform we want to talk about. So going through school, you said you were basically the son of athletes. So your father was a bodybuilder. You left that out.
Yes,
Tell me a little bit about that.
Man, awesome bodybuilder. Awesome. My dad competed since the mid-'80s to 2000s. I mean, he still holds the record of being Mr. Florida. And nobody still to this day hasn't won all across the board. I mean, you are number one from head to toe. Usually people win it, they'll lose in a category or something, somewhat.
Right. You have a specialty. Yeah.
Right. You know, and this guy holds it 1984 or 85, something like that. Top 10 in the world. I mean, all types of things, you know, and like my mom, her high school record just got broke maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And she graduated in 1980. Wow. So I'm just fortunate to have that gift, you know.
Yeah, you got the genes. You definitely got the genetics were handed down to you, 100%. You were blessed. Definitely. So, you know, seeing the success that your father had, and then the negativity you dealt with when you were even younger, before you really even got into the seriousness of it. Let's talk about high school. What was that like?
High school was it was pretty rough. I'm gonna be honest. We didn't have coaches at the time. You know, you have a head coach and he's not going to be your head coach. Then you go a stint of no head coach. And me being the person I am, as you're going to have learned, that I love helping others. So I took on the role for a lot of my peers' recruitment.
What was the reasons for the coaches to keep changing or leaving?
Well, the school I went to was on the south side of Tallahassee, low funding. You know, we're not getting the best of the best books. Everything just hand-me-downs from the best, you know. So, like in high school, I believe I won maybe 7 games, maybe 8 in 4 years.
Wow.
So, you see, but we had so much talent. Like, recruiters come to us first. Pete Carroll came first before going to other schools, you know. So,
did you say Pete Carroll? Is that what you said?
Yeah. Yeah.
You cut off for a second there. I didn't catch that one. We almost missed that name drop right there.
Yeah,
that's a big one though. I mean, you're talking about guys like Pete Carroll. You're talking about, you know, being in a low-funded school and recruiters are coming to you. I mean, I think that speaks volumes to the talent that's in that area.
Yeah, man, we had so much talent.
Of it, your evidence.
Yeah, thank you. And like I said, I did a lot of recruiting. I was on the phone. You talking about a senior in high school, 17, 18-year-old kid, marketing his peers. Like, hey, I know I'm not going to go to school, but my teammate right here is just as good. Give him a shot. You know, things like that. So that was my journey of high school. just using, like I said, the platform I had, been a highly recruited kid, and helping others get scholarships. And that's all I did.
So coming out of high school, you had some trouble with grades?
No, well, the trouble was we thought I was qualified, right?
Okay.
So at that point, you're a senior. Most seniors, they probably take, 4 classes, something like that, maybe, because they're basically done. Well, we thought it really wasn't. So I had to myself geometry. I had to do that. I had to get back in calculus. I had to learn calculus on the run. I was able to pass that with a B. But with ACT, for some reason, I just couldn't get the knowledge of it. I just couldn't get it. It was something about testing. You know, sometimes people could test good.
Yeah.
And certain I can't. Certain I just didn't. And I had to take it 13 times. And I remember when I wanted to give up. I told him, I said, you know what? I'm done with this. I would just not go Division I, and I just go to JUCO and go from there. And I remember my guidance counselor, Ms. Williams, she said, no, don't you ever give up on yourself. And I took it the next time, and then I got the just 3 points I needed. And then I got it.
Yeah. I mean, it's got to eventually go. But I mean, yeah, that would be a big difference going from Division I to JUCO.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying. I was fed up, and that moment right there told me, like, do not give up on yourself no matter what.
Right. Did you kind of
keep pushing?
Did you kind of realize that one decision could kind of change everything that you've worked for? Because I think if you would have went to JUCO, obviously things probably would have been very different.
I wouldn't say that, because in college I had it rough. Okay. I talk to my teammates now. I have teammates in the NFL now. They still don't understand why I was pretty much picked on in college.
By coaches.
Oh yeah, man. Like, if you look for a kid to take the playground on, I was that guy.
Right.
I was that guy. And it really did some mental damage to me, but I'm glad I overcame it very much.
What can you give us some examples, or what do you think, first of all, was the reason for that? Do you think that, sometimes people like to push around the nice guy, or do you think it was you were fighting for a spot, so they knew you had to just, bite your tongue and deal with it? Or what do you think the reason was that they came down on you like that?
I'm definitely agreeing with the nice guy, but I'm also going to throw in there, like, in college, if you notice, a lot of guys they'll say something like, my college coach was like a father figure, right? I stood up for myself, and I told them straight up, I have a father.
Yeah, you're not my dad.
You're not my dad. And I felt like me having a backbone to stand up and say that and not give them that feeling of being. I really feel like that really hurt things. But I feel like if I didn't do that, how would I look my father in the face and say, I love you?
Right. So, at the end of the day, that's not your father. It's a coach. There's a respect there, but everybody needs to understand where the line is.
Yeah. Because I tell you, I have a lot of examples. So when I was at Florida State, I remember I was playing safety. Breaking down on defense. But I just never went to the coach for help. I went to Terrell Buckley, who played in the NFL for 10 years.
Oh, yeah, I know who Terrell Buckley is.
Exactly. So this guy, he gives me a wake-up call at 5 a.m. We go work out, we study film, and I go to class at 8. And we do that every day. I'm learning from him. And I come back to meetings, and I'm answering questions, and I don't get a great job. I'm like, oh, so you know everything now. So I got moved from playing safety to linebacker.
Right. You weren't falling in line.
Exactly. I wasn't falling in line. But I took that as a plus, because that helped me learn safety, linebacker, D-line, corner, because I had to learn all that stuff. So, and then when I transferred, I thought things would get better. It got worse. When I went to Middle Tennessee, I felt like I came from Florida State, and you came to MT. We're going to show you that, we just going to –
Right. We're going to show you this ain't Florida State, basically.
Exactly. But
you were looking for anything that wasn't Florida State.
Exactly, man. Because the guy that bought me in, he left. And when he left, that's when everything went crazy.
And that happens a lot.
Yes, it does. It really does. So when that happened, I remember after spring, I got the most improved spring player award, and my safety coach came to me and said, "I'm going to break you, and you're going to play how I want you to play." And I didn't. I played 12 games. I started 8, but I never finished your entire game this entire season. But I finished with 74 tackles, 3 interceptions, 4 fumbles. I mean, you name it. I filled up the charts. But it was crazy. It was just depressing for me in college. Very.
So let's flip the script. I don't like to do depressing shows. Tell me, I mean, listen, playing college football, I got, as somebody who didn't, right? Obviously, I gotta feel like from the outside looking in, even with a bad experience, it's kind of something a lot of people dream of. So give me some positives. Give me something you remember that was like, damn, I'll never forget that. Something on the field, just football related.
I'm definitely gonna say the camaraderie. Like the thing is, in college, you become brothers. You really do. You really do. Because it's no money involved. You're not taking food out of nobody's mouth. You just playing ball, going to school, enjoying each other. So at the end of the day, that's the best part of college. It's another form of high school. But the thing is, in high school, you are home, you're in your comfort zone. But in college, you're away from home, you create that bond. So I'm learning about somebody who's from the West Coast. I never lived in California. However, my teammate lived there. So therefore, I get to experience in California. So you get to experience all over the world, all over the country, because you have foreigners playing. I mean, it's beautiful. It's an experience that I encourage everyone to try to get involved with, if it's in sports or just books. Just get, the feel of the world in one environment.
That's the one thing I've always loved about sports, being somebody who grew up, playing, watching, like anybody else. Yeah, I mean, it's always about the relationships and the discipline and the respect and learning about other people. That's definitely the best part of it. I always recommend, to anybody. I always say that, like, I kind of live my life like with that mentality. You know what I mean? Like the way I go about things is from almost like a sports team mentality. I kind of just can't help it. I don't know if you do the same thing, but
yeah.
So from Florida State, Middle Tennessee. From Middle Tennessee, you did sign up for the draft, right?
Yes, sir.
And then take me through that journey.
Okay, so this is amazing. This is where this journey really kicks in. So I remember I entered the draft. I did my pro day. I mean,
now when you entered the draft, were you your own acting as your own agent at that time, or not yet?
Yes. I'm doing everything. Because at the end of the day, I'm taking a chance on myself. You have this. Excuse me. You have those that say, I'm gonna look out for you. You do this, I'll be your agent, but they really not. You, at the end of the day, I did my own training.
Everybody only cares about number one, which is respected. I respect it.
Yeah,
but it's true.
It's true. So I just went to Rocky mode. I went to Rocky mode.
Yeah.
And Bert had a great pro day. I remember it was like yesterday. It was raining, and I was able to run a 4.31 and 4.37 laser 40. And that's what broke the mold for everything.
Yeah.
And I mean, went bananas, drilled everything, get interviewed and all whatnot. And unfortunately, I didn't get picked up, but I just kept pressing on. I went to Seattle Ricky minicamp. That really kept me going, because I said, if I can make it to Seattle Ricky minicamp, I get elsewhere. So I remember I kind of feel like a depressed mode a little bit. But the 49ers called me and said, you are on our waiting list. And then that's when I said, you know what? Let's go to work.
People are interested.
Exactly. Me and my dad went to the track. We went to a workout. The workout he instilled in me then. I do it to this day. And that's when I got a job at Walmart. And I started pursuing marketing myself. And that's when Buffalo called me. And the rest became history.
Sounds like Kurt Warner when he was bagging groceries.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the draft, having that great pro day and then going undrafted, what do you think attributed to that? I know you said there was some trouble with the college coaches. Do you think that had anything to do with it, or was there something along the way that, you know, that maybe influenced that happening?
Well, I was getting projected, fourth or seventh round to free agent, because I really started building my stock. However, when I got to Buffalo and they signed me after the workout, they came to me and said, "We thought you would be drafted. You were thrown under the bus." So that's the reason why I didn't get drafted. All right.
Okay.
So the truth was out that I was thrown under the bus.
So
Yeah.
they just came straight out and told you, like, we were told negative things by this, and this person, and we thought you were going to get drafted, and we kind of stole you because you weren't drafted.
Right. Yep.
Wow. So then
Exactly.
what was? Yeah, that's some. It's like half compliment, half insult. I mean, because I'm sure it's something you never saw coming.
No, I absolutely did it. I mean, the thing is, you talk to a guy who never been arrested, never been in trouble, no surgeries, no injuries. The only trouble I got in was in 8th grade when one of my classmates thought me and two of my other buddies was going to skill. But we showed up to class anyway.
Right.
That's
And-
the other side.
And I'll tell you what, even if you did decide to skip that day, I wouldn't hold it against you. I mean, yeah. I mean, I from talking to you, I don't see any reason why, the bad mouthing would have to go that far to, purposely influence draft stock like that. But so we went from that, Seattle 49ers ultimately end up being signed as an undrafted free agent with the Buffalo Bills. This was, what year was this?
This was 14.
14.
It was in 14. Yeah.
How you were with the Bills, I believe it was from June to, I don't remember the exact.
With Buffalo from January.
January, that's what it was. January to August. Right.
Yeah. I was literally about to start. Literally. I mean, you talking, came in 7th on the depth chart during camp. Fought my way to 2nd and nearly taking the first screen position. Wow. And this is why I learned that it's a business, because when I got released, it wasn't about my talent, nothing like that. And when that's why I said I had to learn how to market myself. And that's why I became more professional with it. The thing is,
hold up real quick before we get into the next part of the story. Okay. I want to stick with Buffalo for a second, only because I don't know if I'll ever have a chance to ask somebody this again, but I need to live vicariously through you a little bit.
Okay.
Let's talk about the experience of OTAs and all the things that go into your first season workouts and everything, just starting off with a team rookie year, going into camp and all this other stuff.
Yeah, it's
the journey after the draft, basically, and after you got signed.
Yeah, so right then, you get signed, and that's when the ball gets rolling. All right, that's when everything's professional, as in you must start eating right. You must make sure everything is on this time schedule. No time is, like they say, no wasted movement, no wasted time at all. All right. So when you start going through your camps, the rookie mini camps, the OTAs and whatnot, it always becomes repetitive. So if you take the game serious, you will learn so much each and every grouping. So if you're going from mini camp, OTAs, you're doing your OTAs, everything repeats itself. So what you learn from OTAs, you're going to take it to mini camp. Now, if you are not in that playbook, which is very intense, it's an intense playbook, then you're not really being focused. So everything repeats itself. You go from helmets to shoulder pads, light contact, no contact. It's really about being in the moment, because you never leaving the facility. So you clock in 7 a.m. at the latest, 7 a.m.
3 days?
You could basically say that, yeah, because you leave it back home, going back about 8 p.m.
Right.
So
Speaking of the playbook, and this is something that always fascinated me. What was the language like?
woo, oh,
Right?
the
It's
language. I mean, it's a different code. It really is because
every offense is a new code.
exactly. Exactly. So not only are you using verbiage, you also have to remember the signs to
Right.
say what you know what I'm saying to communicate. And the defense we was running at the time was Coach Jim Short's defense, and he loves 57, man. And honestly, I grew to know,
Right.
because I feel like you pay man out there and you're doing so many checks at safety. You are in control.
Yeah.
So it's so
The
many things.
quarterback of the defense.
You're the quarterback, man, and I love it. Like I'm looking at stuff right now in my head. I want to call Candy that helps. You know what I'm saying I want to call Lock and Twist. I mean, it's so many things you call. It's so.
Yeah, that's something that I always thought was so cool was the different language of all the different playbooks. A different offense is a whole new language, a different defensive playbook, a different scheme, and yeah, that's something that I always thought was interesting. That's why I always like watching like the behind the scenes or like, and I always say, and nobody makes videos like NFL Films does, like watching the NFL and stuff, man. The on field and like behind the scenes stuff that they get, it's the best.
I'm telling it's chess, man. It's really chess.
Yeah.
I can't because you see one thing, you might want to check something else. I mean, and you're just going back and forth. That's why the play call always go down to about almost zero every time.
Right.
Because offense make a check, defense make a check, and you're going back and forth.
Yep. Yeah. I love it. I love it. That's why I say my opinion. I don't know how you feel, but I think the best quarterback of all time is Peyton Manning, and it's for a lot of the reasons you just said.
Yes, sir.
Good. I'm glad you agree with me. That makes my opinion a little more credible now. So now let's talk about what. We went to camp with the Bills, and kind of just you could pick it up where I cut you off before.
Yeah, that's when I knew it's time to get professional because when I got released, it wasn't about my play. Okay, so I remember like about 2 months went down the road, I called back and they said, "Wow, Jajuan, I thought you'd been called by now." And I was like, "Well, I don't have an agent." He's like, "This guy, Mr. Jim Munoz, that's who brought me in and keep me updated on stuff. He's not there no more." But he said it's time to get professional, basically. And that's when I began going to arenas and everything, stay in touch with Coach Dunny Henderson, who this guy put in Pro Bowls, Hall of Famers, you name it, at DB. And he just said, keep grinding. And that's when the arena started coming, the CFL, and just all over the place, basically getting film, staying alive, and just prepare for the moment that I'm so close at this place right now of giving a call.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see it happen for you. I mean, that would be amazing. One thing I do want to ask you about, and it's probably something nobody that's listening maybe would have asked, but I'm a wrestling fan. What was the XFL like?
So with the XFL, man, COVID got me. Not like illness, but
really?
When the XFL draft, supplemental draft, and I was getting ready, that's when they shut XFL down. COVID shut my opportunity of getting able to pass. So, yeah.
That's tough. And what did you think about the the AAF at the time?
Oh man, I didn't get there. First of all, I didn't know much about it.
Right. Did you know anyone that was in it?
Not really until the last moment.
Right. A lot of guys kind of got screwed from there, right?
That's what I read up on. I really did.
Yeah. They had a lot of money issues, a lot of promises that weren't kept, and it's sad. But I don't know if you saw, they were, I don't know their names, but there were a bunch of guys that did get opportunities in the NFL this recently.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's good. Matter of fact, Dallas quarterback now?
Garrett Gilbert?
Yeah, he got
really? I didn't know that. I didn't know. Yeah, see, so it was good. I mean, imagine what it could have been, though. And the XFL, too, for guys like yourself and like these guys now, it would have been not – I don't want to say it's a minor leagues because it's not, but almost like and it's not developmental either. It's just an alternative. That's really all it would have been.
Yeah.
And I think it would have been great for the game overall, not just for the NFL, because the AAF was entertaining. I was looking forward to the XFL, and I think the competition between the three of them would have did nothing but made football better.
Exactly. I agree. I definitely agree. Yeah.
The XFL did it the first time. I mean, I'm pretty sure, but I think the NFL took the idea for the overhead camera that goes across the field from the XFL back in 2000, right?
Yes.
They did, yeah.
Yep.
I thought I know my stuff. Yeah, so I could imagine what now, influences they all would have had on each other besides the talent, It would have been good. So now talk to me about what happened after the XFL and the IFL and all these things we just discussed. Because one thing that I do have to recommend to people is the documentary you have in your website. That thing was cool. That was so cool. Highlighting the workouts. And was that a friend of yours that was narrating?
Actually, that's a reporter. He being a go-getter. I saw him working on his stuff, and I just gave him my card. I believe I have a story for you, and the rest is history.
Yeah, because I was going to say the narrator did an awesome job, so makes sense. He's a reporter. Yeah, that makes sense. So now we're working out, right? So what's the deal now? What's going on?
Right now, man, we getting interest from teams. Recently, we just had 4 people from the Cleveland Browns checking out our stuff, scouts. 3 from the Arizona Cardinals and 2 from the New York Giants. I mean, it's there. It's we getting closer and closer. So right now, just staying in shape. I'm working my craft.
Who was your team growing up?
I really didn't never have a team. Honestly, I really didn't.
I feel like a lot of guys who wind up playing professionally have that same answer. Like I've seen a lot of interviews where guys are like, "Yeah, I didn't really, whoever. I just wanted to play." Makes sense. So now, tell me about Made.
So Made, this really came about because
what does it stand for people that don't know?
Right, Made stand for make adjustments, delete excuses, and the reason that came about is because I was moping over not getting back in the NFL, not getting phone calls. And I drove by the hospital. People are giving birth, people are dying. And you know what? I said, either I'm going to make this a pity party or a stepping stone. And just blew in my car and said, make adjustments, delete excuses. And it stuck with me. And I started a business there, health, wellness, and fitness. And, it's basically using my journey to help others overcome. So not only they're getting in shape, but we also helping their mind, body, spirit become one, staying motivated. So when they hit that brick wall, they don't run away from it. They continue to run through it.
Which, for anybody interested, is also featured in the documentary. I forgot the kid's name, but the one kid, he played ball. He tore his Achilles, I think it was.
Yes, his ankle. He tore his ankle. His name is Isaiah. And be able to work with him is a great example of what Made is. Because this guy, when I first met him, I know you've seen the video, but this guy was like 300 pounds when I found him. And now he's down to about 250 right now. Wow. So I want to get him down about to 220 and then build him back up because he's a power hitter. He's a first baseman.
He's trying to get back in playing shape?
Yes, because, he was getting recruited. He was signed. I sometimes wish you could do it early. He could have signed early. It would secure him, but he tried to wait his options out. But right now, just get him in shape, get him back going, getting his confidence back. And this guy, he'll get there.
So what's in the future for Made?
Right now we have our online going right now. We have virtual training as well, one-on-one training, group sessions. But the future is to establish a gym. That's what we're working on right now. We have some competitors in bodybuilding and fitness. We have semi-pro football players. We have professional boxers on the team. So we really are down and stuff, and professional models. So we are working hard to expand in different areas right now.
And the website's made2enhance.com. That's the number 2, right? Made to enhance.
Yes.
So what I just lost it. I just lost what I was going to say. I wanted to make sure I got the website in there. So started off being bullied as a kid, overcame that, decided to help others. Had trouble in high school, ultimately getting enough credits to do what you had to do, overcame that. Went on to college, Florida State. Couple problems there, decided to leave, overcame that. Went to Middle Tennessee, couple problems there, still did what you had to do, put up amazing numbers at your pro day, entered the draft, didn't get drafted, overcame that, eventually signed by the Buffalo Bills, started your own company, doing ultimately what you started doing in the first place, helping others. And now the journey, your video just cut off there, and now the journey continues. Is there anything that I left out that you want to talk about?
Let's see. It's a lot of things, such as I had to take remedial classes in college. Left out sleeping in my car because I was too broke to have my own place.
When was that?
This was like during the time of Walmart, overcoming family members with drugs and selling drugs and going to, stuff like that. I mean, you name it, I faced it. My dad passing, for 17 years, he had lung disease from being an HVAC. So he held asbestos, trying to provide for his family.
Wow.
A year later, my mom, she defeated breast cancer. She had breast cancer, she beat it. Nice. So I got always something to overcome. And that's why I said I use my story. Sure. So my story is, no matter what you face in life, you continue to persevere. You just continue to keep going. That's what made us about. Make adjustments, delete excuses. All the things that I've been through, I could have made excuses and I wouldn't be talking to you to this day. Right. But I made the adjustments. And that's what I feel like my journey is about. And that's why I don't pout about it anymore, because I feel like I have been chosen to take this journey and to teach others that no matter how your dream is going, it can be rocky, it can be great, you just keep persevering, keep having that grit, make adjustments, delete excuses. Eventually the door will open for you.
And the journey's not over. This isn't like a past tense conversation that we're having here. So if I have two questions for you, or it's kind of a two-part question, right? So kind of looking at the NFL, if you thought you may wind up somewhere, can you share where you think that would be? And my second part of that question is, with all the talk of your video cut off, with all the talk of Trevor Lawrence going number one and the Jets possibly getting the number one pick, would you ever turn down the Jets? Because I would.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you right now.
I'm a Dolphins fan, by the way. Full disclosure. That's why I had to go there. That's why I had to go there.
A team that I see myself playing for. No, I just love the game of football. So whomever, So, but the other part about the Jets, yeah, I play for them,
Yeah, I didn't think you would turn down. It was just, I had to jab at them.
And this is the thing, though. I know it's a little off topic, but I don't understand how guys, they get this big check, but they do not want to go play for a team, right?
I hear you.
I literally played for free a couple of games, okay? I literally 80 miles a day to practice to be on a team just to play ball, something I love. Right. So I just don't understand why guys do that. It's heartbreaking to guys like me who scratch and claw.
Sure.
So yeah, any team that wants me to play, I'll play. Yeah.
Yeah. I obviously that's what I figured you were gonna say. I mean, that's definitely the right mentality to have. I don't think. Listen, I'm nobody. If the Jets came to me and they said, "Listen, Sam Darnold's hurt. We need you Sunday," I'd be wearing green Sunday. I mean. But yeah, I don't know. Buffalo looks real good right now. Buffalo looks pretty good. So you mentioned Terrell Buckley before. Do you have any other, maybe guys that influence you in the NFL? Anybody you have a close relationship with? Anybody that's helped you along the way? Be that teammates, older guys?
I have some guys from back home. I went to the same high school I did. Corey Fuller. if you're familiar with Corey Fuller. He was part of the community. William Gay played for Pittsburgh Steelers for a while.
Yep. Very good.
There. Kobe Smith, who's the coach down right now in Miami. I think he's the running back coach right now.
Was William Gay with them for the Super Bowl?
Yes, 2 Super Bowls.
He was, right? I thought so. I thought he was. Yeah.
So those guys right there, I reach out to them much as I can. They have busy schedules and stuff. But to see them as I was growing up in the community and see what they have done, it's something you want to do as well. They're giving back a lot, and it's just an obligation. Once you get to a certain point, you want to give back.
Yeah, that's awesome. And those are all guys that are respected. You never hear anything negative about any of the names you just said. So yeah, man, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I could sit here and ask a million questions that are just going to involve the NFL in general, but I'm not going to take up all your time. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
Oh man, whoever's listening, I don't care what your dream is football, basketball, life, business, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Just continue to push forward. It's going to be hard, but the main thing you have to do is stay motivated and most importantly, be loyal to yourself. And I always say being loyal to yourself means not giving up on yourself. So when you're loyal to yourself, you're not going to give up on yourself. So that's what I encourage people to do. Continue to be loyal to yourself. Never give up. And just know that in due time, it may be 5 years, maybe 6 years, 7 years, whatever it is. You just go with the flow with a peaceful mindset and everything will happen for you.
That's great, especially with the state of the world right now. I think that's something people definitely need to hear. Jajuan, thanks for joining me one more time, everybody. You could check out Jajuan's website, jajuanharley.com. That's where the documentary is. I highly recommend watching that and checking that out. It's a good story. It'll probably give you a little more of a visual than just what you heard on the podcast. You could follow him on Facebook at Jajuan Michael Harley, Twitter Jajuan M Harley, Instagram the same, and Snapchat Harley M Jajuan. I got it right that time. I didn't mess that one up. Thanks for joining me, man. I really, really appreciate it. This was great. This was like one of the most excited I was to have a conversation, and it didn't disappoint. So I appreciate it.
Hey, thank you for having me, man. Keep doing what you're doing, man, because what you're doing is not only going to affect the sports world, you're influencing somebody. It's another little run coming. So you keep doing your purpose is always bigger than you. Always. So thank you.
Appreciate that. Good talking to you, man. And we'll stay in contact. I'll let you know when it drops. We'll talk.
All right. Bless up.
Thank you.